Hey everybody, this is Tony here. I'm going to start with the first week, and this is completely unscripted and unrehearsed. So please bear with me as I go through this. I'm just kind of going to meander a little bit, I think, on this. So I personally don't like the idea of New Year's resolutions because a lot of times that time of year is very stressful. A lot of people are traveling. It's hard to get into a routine or to establish new habits. A lot of people try, and it's about this time of year when you get like to the third week that people have tried um, a, a New Year's resolution, try to establish some new habits, and they get frustrated. They maybe have fell off the wagon, whatever it is that they're trying to do. So I'm wanting to start this series this week, and so that we can move forward, throughout the year on a weekly basis. Just post some topics that we might find interesting about fitness. So, with that, the very first thing that I want to talk about that I think is really key and essential to fitness, and we're going to talk about some other things as we go that might help you accomplish your goals, whether you want to lose weight, maintain weight, gain muscle, have more energy, better digestion, whatever it is, sleep better, have better brain function, all these different things, I believe. All right. So, this is everything that I've been told and learned and studied, that the majority of the underlying foundation of your results will depend on your nutrition. Okay, we have a saying, it's like 80% nutrition, 20% exercise, 20% of what you do with your body, right? And then it's also mindset. That's something else that we will also talk about later on. So with nutrition being the most important part of your fitness, it's important to understand what we're talking about with as far as nutrition is concerned. So first off, I want to say that everybody has different needs because everybody has different goals, everybody has different bodies. So everybody has different needs. The approaches can vary as well, right? There's some things that I am going to stay away from because I don't think that they're helpful. And I don't think that I think they can actually be more harmful. And I'm not to say dangerous or anything like that, but I think that they're more detrimental, if you will, to your overall fitness. So the first thing I want to talk about is your macronutrients. Okay, those are your large nutrients that you need. Those are carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Right? We need all of those. We don't need an imbalance of those. Right? And the philosophy, the global nutrition philosophy that I follow, is a 30-30-40 ratio. So 30% of your calories should come from carbs, or no, not carbs, I'm sorry. 30% should come from protein, 30% should come from fat, and 40% should come from carbs. So you might see a lot of fad diets or fad approaches to this by eliminating one of those three macros. And I will tell you, generally, if you're going to cut out one of those three macros, let's say you want to cut out carbs completely or reduce them dramatically, there's different diets that take that approach. You're going to lose weight, right? You're going to have some results as far as your weight goes. But that comes at a cost, right? There are certain things that we need from carbohydrates because of the sources that we get for those carbohydrates. And the caloric deficit by cutting out that major macronutrient is usually why people lose weight. It's not that they're cutting out fat, for example. You want to cut out fat, you're going to lose weight, but there's a downside to that too, because your body needs fat. Your body needs that to assimilate some vitamins, right? So that's the approach I'm going to take. If I come up, if I hear anything about certain diets that are cutting out those large macronutrients, I'm not going to discuss those because I don't think that they're good overall. I don't think that they're I just don't think that they're good. I don't think they're sustainable. Sure, you're going to find people who have results with it. You're going to find people who have lost weight or whatever. But I think overall, that's something I'm going to stay away from. So warning right now, if you were expecting to be, following down one of those paths, I'm not gonna discuss that necessarily. But everybody has different approaches as far as obtaining those macronutrients. So we have people who want a majority of their macronutrients to come from plant-based sources, right? So those are people who want to maybe occasionally have meat or have fish or something like that, or some dairy products. That's fine. Then there's people who want completely plant-based sources for those macronutrients. You're vegans, right? So that's fine as well. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff over this next year. So those, if you think of those macronutrients as like your building blocks. So a lot of those, the fat, the carbohydrates, and the protein especially is important because every cell relies on that protein for structure, for function. And recently had a family member who broke a bone, and the doctor said, even for bone healing, protein is vital. I mean, it's vital for a lot of functions of the body, musculature, just everything. So, we need those large nutrients for structure, for rebuilding. We need it for energy, right, and protection. So if we don't have those, we're going to have some major issues. And those I consider the building blocks of what our nutrition should be based on. Following that are micronutrients. And I'm going to put in like phytonutrients as well. Those are different chemical or different compounds in plant and herb-based sources that might help with antioxidants or antioxidation, for example. But your micronutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, those are things that fill in the gaps that your body still needs. And a lot of people don't realize that, you try to eat whole foods, you try to eat, from around the edge of the grocery store. And I would encourage that. But a lot of our crops are suffering from nutrient decreases over the decades because the soils are being depleted of those nutrients. So, for example, a carrot, 60, 70 years ago might have more vitamin A than a carrot today because the soils that they're grown in might have actually less nutrients for the plants. I don't know that for a fact. I mean, there are some studies I've read about the differences that the minerals and vitamins that are apparent in certain produce has decreased over the decades. I don't know if it was carrots, I don't remember, but that is happening. And some people worry too that some of the carbon monoxide in the atmospheres is having an effect on the carbon dioxide, in the atmosphere is having an effect on the plant's ability to synthesize certain nutrients as well. So that's another thing that could be out there affecting what we think is typically healthy food. It's still healthy, but it might not be as complete as we think. So, I will talk about supplementation because it is something that, if done right, I believe, can have a positive effect as well towards your fitness. So the macronutrients are like building blocks of your nutrition, and the micronutrients, phytonutrients, those kinds of things are like the mortar that fill in the gaps, that fill in the cracks. Another thing that's so key is water. A lot of people don't get enough water in their diets or in their daily routines, and generally what we recommend is about half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 200 pounds, perhaps you should look at 100 ounces of water a day. Minimum 8 ounce glasses a day. That is something that I would recommend. However, as a caveat to all this, you would want to talk with your physician if you're going to set up a diet plan or anything like that, just to make sure that you don't have any complications. I don't know your background, your history. But if you're going to start drinking water, as I mentioned, let's say 100 ounces at a 200-pound person, if you're going to start drinking that amount of water, I would slowly do that. I wouldn't all of a sudden just start drinking that from day one. I would increase it, a little bit day by day for over a week or so, 2 weeks, just to let your body get used to that, because, too much water is actually not necessarily good, because it can cause some mineral imbalances and whatnot. So we want to be careful with that. So with that, with your nutrients, your macronutrients, the last thing I'm going to mention today, and we'll go into a little bit more later, is fiber. Fiber is so important with our highly processed, refined foods in the typical American diet. We have a lack of fiber. People aren't getting enough fiber. So a typical American gets about maybe 10 grams of fiber a day, and it's recommended that you get at least 15, 20, 35. What I've read is ideal. The lady who I've read about that, she said our body has actually evolved to on a diet with about 100 grams of fiber a day. So if we have more fiber and more water in our diets, that'll help with digestion. That will help with sense of fullness. And we'll talk more about fiber in detail. But anyhow, I just wanted to recommend that. If you have any questions, or if you want, we offer free wellness profiles where we can go through and see, based on your age, your height, your weight, what your goals are. We can kind of go through and determine, protein amounts for you. And then based off of that, you can also, if you needed to, look at your carbs and your fat amounts in addition to that. But the thing is you don't want to overcomplicate things, right? You want to pick one thing to look at. We generally go with protein, and then, from there, we can make other determinations. But if you want to, just reach out and talk to whoever invited you to look at these videos, and ask them, for more information. All right. So with that, I'm going to go, and I'll post some more next time. Thank you.